Right here, come here, please. Hey, people can agree to disagree. That's what we call civilization. Or quackery, either way. Don't touch the mic, but hustle up, come on.
Apropos the topic of the panel, we're having a conference on skepticism. I'm wondering to what extent, and maybe Randy, you're the one to answer this, the media is involved with this conference. What steps have been taken to let them know the results, that the topics that have come up, and what is going on in the conference?
The press releases were all sent out. Phone calls were made. Nothing.
Yeah,
we didn't get one response. We have the New York Times here, I must say, but that was arranged several weeks ago, at least several weeks ago. The gentleman said that he would be here, and he is here, and we may see something. I certainly hope so.
I wrote a press release.
That's also a money issue. When we were talking earlier about giving money, press and stuff, you know, press releases and stuff, you don't just send them out. You have to be able to follow it up, and the press people deserve to get money and give more money to Randy. Randy will hire more press people, I think. Won't you? Okay.
Yeah. Greg Winslow, one of last year's speakers.
Hey, everybody. I got a question for Dr. Scott and possibly Mr. Randi, although I'm sure Penn will jump in there eventually. During your presentation, Dr. Scott, you showed us some beautiful 30,000 square foot museums, lush solariums, palaces, etc., for all of these creation science museums, etc. Where do they get the funding for this? I can't help but think that somewhere there's got to be corporate funding for this kind of stuff. And I'd hate to think that shopping at Walmart is somehow supporting these nut jobs or something along those lines. Not that I'm saying Walmart is doing this, okay? Are there any?
Where does their money come from?
You get it.
Funding for creationist organizations. Anybody who's interested in how the Discovery Institute or the Institute for Creation Research or Answers in Genesis or any National Center for Science Education, any other nonprofit is funded, merely needs to go to a website called, I think it's called guidestar.org. And you can get the IRS returns for all nonprofits. We have to file every year a form called the 990, the Dread 990, in which we list how much money we took in, how much money we went out. To be a nonprofit means you have to jump through all kinds of hoops with the IRS so that for the privilege of not having to pay taxes. I'm all for it. For the ICR, the largest creationist organization, most of the money does come from individual mom and pop donations from their 200,000 plus mailing list. Every month you receive the acts and facts from the ICR, and in the envelope is a little self-addressed envelope, not self-stamped. You have to put the stamp on, and you can give them your monthly donation. They also get some of their money from investments that they have made, but basically they're pretty much a cash kind of outfit. The Discovery Institute, on the other hand, has other funding. They get funding from Weyerhaeuser and some other large Northwest Foundation corporations. And I'm getting there. But the major contributor is a very conservative individual from Southern California named Howard Amundsen. If you listen to NPR, you hear them thanking the Amundsen Foundation. That's the good twin, shall we say. Harold Amundsen, there's an Amundsen family. Where did they make their money? It was a bank, wasn't it? At any rate, they've got a ton of bucks. The whole family does. And Howard Amundsen supports the Discovery Institute, and at one point he was supporting Rushdoony and Christian Reconstructionism, although I guess he's gotten out of that a little bit. But largely, the AIG and ICR are really supported by grassroots conservative Christians who donate $15 a month. Small donations.
And I would point out that the JREF will accept monthly donations. It's very easy to do by contacting Linda. I know I do it myself.
We at the JRF are supported largely from, well, two sources. First of all of my lecture fees, and I lecture all over the world, as you folks probably know, my lecture fees are not paid to me, they're paid to the foundation, as all the income from this meeting, of course, is paid directly to the foundation. And my salary is based upon This is something you have a right to know. My salary is based upon the figure that I was bringing in the lecture field before I started the foundation. So I'm pretty well even with my previous earnings. On occasion, I've had to reach into that just to support the foundation to keep it going. I do so willingly. It's not a great burden for me. I'm happy to do it. But I shouldn't have to do that. We should have enough independent support. And then every now and then, a fellow named Johnny Carson, yeah, I keep forgetting. Every now and then I get a call from this man who says a check is on its way. I don't know whether I told some audiences about this. You'll be amused by it. And his last letter to me, he put at the bottom of the letter, he said, the enclosed, which is a 6-figure check, not the one that you just saw announced, that's another one who just came to us from him. He said, the enclosed is to help you educate Larry King and Montel Williams. And knowing that John understands me relatively well, I wrote him back and I said, thank you so much for your donation. Johnny, you know that we appreciate it very highly. However, the purpose for which you earmarked that check, that amount is not sufficient. And I think he agreed with me. He's away in the Caribbean right now, and he did express, and I'll give you this now, he expressed his regrets that he couldn't be here at TAM2, but who knows about TAM3? I think he's in the Caribbean in his new boat. I'm having a contract put out to sink that boat, so we'll see whether he can show up next year. But he's a prince. He's a prince, and he's helped us a great deal. And we get private donations all the time. Not huge ones that really surprise me, but there are some folks in the audience here who represent charitable organizations and funding and inheritances of various kind, who every now and then come in with sufficiently large checks that we keep afloat. But we need an improvement on that, folks, and we'll get into that sometime tomorrow. Thank you.
I'd like to put in an early vote to have TAM3 on Johnny Carson's boat.
Well, we'll see if that idea floats. Go ahead, Peter. Oh, come on, at least it was quick.